I've learned in talking with my therapist how much the outside of my life, those other 22 hours of my day, all the other things that are going on in my life, how much that was affecting my training and how I was showing up, like my race anxiety and all the stress that I put on myself in running. This perfectionism mindset was due to all of these like other background things that were going on. And I had no idea that they were connected until I started like diving into it and talking about it.
It's fascinating. Can we maybe like triage a live situation?
Oh yeah.
Are you cool with that?
I don't care.
I think
I'm super open.
The reason is A, I'm like currently going through this, and B, I think a lot of other people, I think it'll resonate with a lot of people. So, okay, so here's the scenario. Work is busy, life is busy, relationships are challenging, family always wants more, and I'm a workaholic and I always want to do more. Podcast is busy, work is busy, etc. Running, it's not additive. It's like becoming a stressor.
Mm-hmm.
Where do you go with something like that?
So like my question would be like, what do you want to do in your ideal? Like, what is the thing that you want your life to look like? Like, what is your best life going to look like? And how do you get yourself there? So it's again, like creating like a goal and then building back from that. I never I'm like, oh, you absolutely need to do this. It's more kind of like a conversation of like, all right, what's your capacity right now? And like, where do we go from there? And how do we build that? So like, that would be my first question. Like, what do you want your life to look like right now? So
where that led to was, I stopped running just like entirely for a week, maybe. I let the pendulum swing far towards the other stuff. And like you said, you talk about like, we all have a capacity for X amount of stuff in a day. And I was like, the bucket's being filled with other stuff. I can't fit running in right now. And to me, I was like super frustrated by that because in the past I've used running as an outlet and running became a stressor.
Yep.
And it was not adding. And so I was like, okay, I need to remove running as a stressor. And now I'm trying to figure out how to add it back in as a like functionally beneficial thing that is also fun, but like it's still stressful, right? Like it's physically stressful. It does damage to our body, and that's why we get better. That's what adaptation is.
Yeah.
And so I don't prescribe that, or I don't claim to have any answers or know that I'm on the right track, but I feel like I'm closer to getting there.
Yeah. I mean, the fact that like you said, you're right now kind of just like going with the flow, and you're either running like maybe a couple miles with like your dog, and like, that's great. Or you're just running with friends. Like that's usually my advice when I say like, if you're coming back to it, like do it when you want to do it and like how you want to, cause like that's the only way that you're going to know that you're doing it for the like love of it. I completely understand when like we're using running as like an outlet for your stressor. And like the last month of my life has been like very, very crazy. I've had, my grandmother was on hospice. She passed away, like family drama, family stress, like all of these things all at once, and like last minute travel plans and moving around clients and all of these things that just like happened all at once. And on top of that, like financial stuff. And so like running easily could have been just like the tip of the iceberg that like just put me over the edge. Again, I'm very in tune to myself, so I can only like speak for myself. But during those times, like I was probably prioritizing more like downtime and pulling myself away from other situations that maybe would have like taken more energy from me. Did that like impact maybe some of my relationships at the time? Yeah, it definitely did. But that was what I needed to do to like keep myself sane. And then running was still something that I had the capacity for at that time because of that. That being said, like it was getting there. It was very, very close to like just boiling over. And even last week, like some, again, stressors happened, and I was just like, you know what, I'm just not running 2 of my days that I was supposed to run, and like decided I'm going to strength train instead, because that made me feel better in that moment. That was going to provide me a different release than running was going to be. And I don't think we think about from like a physical perspective. Yes, running is stressful, on our musculoskeletal system, like in our lungs, our cardiovascular system. Running is also super stressful on our nervous system because of just the amount of movement that's happening, the amount of vibrations that are going through our system. And that's what makes like people think about running and like biking and like they're like, why are they so different if they're like such like a lower body thing? Running, you're just constantly bouncing, and that vibration, those perturbations are extremely tiresome for your entire nervous system through your entire body. Where for biking, your upper body is relatively stationary and like your legs are doing the work and there is no bouncing. So you're not getting the same level of like nervous system fatigue. There is still some, but it's not the same. And that's why they can be so different, and why you can have a different capacity on a bike versus running.